Okay. So, okay, I guess this means I have to start over. But, so, shit. I hate starting over. What happened was, after some Monday, I didn't know what to do with myself. I had still not come up with a decision yet. And, shit. Okay. I had still not come up with a decision yet. And, so I skipped French purposely because I needed time to think. French is from 11:30 to 12:30. And I went home, and as soon as I went home, I started talking about it. I saw my dad and started talking about it with him. And he told me that I should just go. I should just go. I should see if it's okay. I should see if it's the right thing to do. And he gave me his blessing. He told me that he could drop me off because the roads are bad and he doesn't want me driving. I should probably drive because I'm 19, but he said he wanted to. So I said okay. And I could have done it. The roads weren't that bad today, but he just decided to anyways. It's kind of like when your dad drops you off at Pine Rest, it's kind of like walking into a room or a classroom and knowing that you're going to fail the exam. And knowing that because you're going to fail the exam, you're probably going to fail the class and then you're going to have to retake it. You know what I mean? So, no, okay, yeah, you know what I mean. And so what happened is the car ride wasn't awkward or sad. It was just kind of like, ugh. And I said I love you when I got out of the car, and that was that. We listened to music. I walked into the main center. The moment I got there, I got assessed by their psychiatrist for the adult partial program, Dr. Bell. Probably one of the most pretentious people I've ever met. And when you're dealing with very well-educated people, you're dealing with pretense. You're dealing with people who are pretentious. Sometimes. And that's what I dealt with today with Dr. Bell. He's very, like I said, intelligent and smart. The guy knows what he's up to. Not really, well, so. And he not only took the time to tell me everything that was wrong with me in a 40-minute period, but he also took the time to recite to me the first draft of his new and upcoming book, Dr. Bell, My Philosophy on Life. He told me his philosophy on Thanksgiving. He did that one cliche where he's just like, there's 3 different types of people in the world, and it's just like, I don't want to like dive into detail, but it was okay. He's pretty okay. No, you know what? No, I'm gonna talk about Thanksgiving. He said, Alex, he's like, Thanksgiving is probably the most ungrateful holiday that's ever existed. He's like, if you don't believe me, after this, go to Meijer and look at all the fat, hairy people that are buying ingredients for their Thanksgiving dinner when they had all this time to do it, but they waited till 2 days before the actual holiday to do it because they don't care. And, if we went back in time and talked to the Native Americans and bitched to them about the fact that we have too much food and that they give it to us at supermarkets, they would think that we were crazy because Native Americans routinely starve to death, right? And he just went on and on about this shit. I'm like, we've only got so much time. He's like, yeah, I'm famous for not, catching the time or worrying about the time. He's like, I just get into it, whatever. I was like, yeah, whatever, okay, because, there's no time in the day. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want, It's not like this is a partial program where I only have 8:15 to 4:15 and I've got a lot of shit to do. Kind of listening to an RN and doing a assessment and fuck that. But, it was probably my favorite part of the day. And it sucked because it was the first thing I did today. Not today, but at Pine Rest. And the last, no, not the last thing, but the first thing. I don't know where the last thing came from, but he went on to tell me qualities that he liked about me. He said that I'm highly intelligent. He said that he's like, well, name strengths about yourself. And I said, well, I think that I can be articulate. And he's like, oh, well, yeah, you love words. And I took that as a compliment. Did I have to? No. But I did. And that's what happened. And there's nothing like staring at a screen with your face in the center and then looking at all the hot chicks. But look at that. I'm not that. Look, there's Rihanna. Lady Gaga, even Adele. Look at Adele. Look at how cute she is. They're all so beautiful. No, why can't I be that? That's why I went to. Anyways, sorry I got sidetracked. It's only been 6 minutes. You've got time. You're not busy college students. You can listen to me bitch. But on a useless video, you guys are gonna be like, why did she do this? Like, why couldn't she just have called me? So, anyways, and then he went on to tell me after that, those were the compliments that I got. And then he went on to tell me that all the bad things that he thought, all of my bad traits. He said that I'm jumpy. I'm a little nervous. That's true. It was my first couple of minutes, 40 minutes at Pine Rest. I mean, I'm gonna be jumpy. I'm gonna rock back and forth, and I'll be all like, oh, like, and I'm up. It's early. I'm in a bad place. Scared. I don't really know what to do. I'm lost. The night before, I felt certain about it, but I didn't. And, sorry. I felt scared. And I didn't tell everyone. I should have. But I just didn't know if I was gonna do it. And then, I kind of just decided this morning to do it. And I didn't really have the time. I mean, what was I gonna do? Text everyone that I hadn't had told that I was gonna go at 8 in the morning? It's like, I don't want you to wake up to that. So I'm trying to get a hold of everyone now that I didn't tell, and then, yeah, I don't really know how they're gonna take it. I'm scared, but I don't know what to do, so I guess I'm just gonna have to deal with the repercussions of my actions. He went on to tell me, though, that he thinks that I also have an underlying attention problem, and that I might have ADD. He asked me questions that might, that lead to his assumption. For example, he asked me if He asked me to tell him the similarities between cats and snakes. And I told him that cats and snakes both have eyes and a brain and a heart and skin, and they both can be domesticated. Again, it was only 8 in the morning. Cats and snakes have more in common. They can't fly. They have livers. There's more to it. There really are. But I felt embarrassed because, I couldn't really come up with a more definite list. But he's like, yeah, you categorize by telling me your list was just a category of things. It focused on one aspect about them. It focused on the physicality behind snakes and cats. They both have eyes, both have hearts, brains, things like that. And he's like, people with ADD tend to do that? That's what he said. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm just saying. That's what he said. And then he told me that I might have bipolar disorder. And the reason why he thinks this is because my mother had bipolar disorder. And so, I could have inherited it from her. And then he told me that the reason why he thinks that I have bipolar disorder also is because once I was prescribed to something called Zoloft, and that created a high for me. I reacted like it was a stimulant. And people with major depression don't do that. People with bipolar disorder do that. Zoloft isn't supposed to work like that. Zoloft is supposed to calm you down. It's not supposed to make you feel like you're high. Like, I was dancing around the room, laughing to myself. I played soccer when it was like in the middle of a cold fall. I was like Tom Petty to myself while playing soccer out loud. It was weird. I kept that soccer ball with me too, like in case I wanted to play soccer again, and I didn't want to play soccer after that because I was taken off it fairly shortly. I couldn't sleep with it. It was like so fun, but it so wasn't fun. It's like you're trapped in Candyland, and then when you get to the end of it, you realize that there was like a serial killer waiting for you. Oh, hey, I'm talking. Love you. It's cute, guys. That was also cool. So, and this was like really shocking to me. So he started telling me that he wanted to put me on Wellbutrin and Seroquel, and that's what I was prescribed to today. But I'm not going to act on it, and the reason why I'm not going to act on it is because I decided that I didn't want to go back to Pine Rest. And the reason why I don't want to go back is because I don't think it's going to help me. I think we managed to get my psychiatrist, Dr. Flencha, to get me in sooner, and I'm going to work with him instead of Dr. Bell, and I'm going to start talking with Amy, and I feel like because those two experts know me better than Dr. Bell and everybody else at Pine Rest, they can either say, yeah, Dr. Bell knew what he was talking about, or, okay, yeah, he knew what he was talking about, but let's try something different, or Dr. Bell doesn't know what he's talking about. If I have bipolar disorder, we can work with that. I have a lot of things now that I can work with that might have been right. What I really wanted to do was get to the problem of me not responding to my medicine, and I feel like he put me on the high shit, or the hard shit, really fast. He put me on a full dosage of Wellbutrin, like 450 milligrams, and then he put me on an antipsychotic, and I don't think, I might not need Seroquel. And I talked about this with my dad, and we're just like, these guys don't even know me. We're jumping to conclusions really fast here, and we feel like this can be solved by just going to Dr. Fletcher and by going to Amy more often. I didn't have to go today. I didn't have to, and I'm glad I did. I learned a lot about myself. I might have bipolar disorder. I don't know. But I did learn a lot about myself. I learned a lot about what I can I learned a lot about my past experience at Pine Rest. They throw a lot of responsibility at everybody who walks into Pine Rest, and when you throw a lot of responsibility at like a depressed teenager who doesn't really have a lot of motivation, not a lot of shit is gonna get done. And I started thinking about all of the mistakes that I have made, all of the failures that I have done in terms of recovering from my so-called mental illness that I might have been misdiagnosed. That pisses me off. That was part of my decision too. Of course, so I was 16, and they try to avoid, diagnosing 16-year-old girls with bipolar disorder because, we're all fucking crazy when we're 16-year-old. But still, it's kind of like, for 4 years I thought I had bipolar disorder, and yeah, I'm at fault for that too. I really am. But, damn, it's like, if I'm at such an intensive care unit and I'm already here, you know, where else am I going to go that's more intensive than a mental unit, than a mental hospital? You know, if it's possible that I might have this, let's explore that option. Let's not just jump to a conclusion. Does that make sense? So, you know, if that was possible at the time, let's explore that option. Let's, you know, take more time to dive into a diagnosis than just jump to a conclusion, which is what I felt like they had done. So I decided to leave. I decided that I'm just going to talk to my doctor about my medicine issue instead, and that I don't need to go there, and that it's not going to help me. I'm grieving. Yeah, it's led to a dark episode. But I can recover from this. I don't need to go to Pine Rest for 3 days. And the partial adult program isn't going to help me. And that's what I thought. I felt really stupid. After just all day long, I kept having to tell people that this was my second time. And that was really embarrassing. And it shouldn't be. But it was. You know, and the way people look at me when I said that, the way I had all these new girls look at me like, oh, she's been there before. And then I looked at all of these lifers, you know, people who had been here all their lives, and that scared me. And I thought, you know, I'm not better than them. They're not better than me. But what can I do to not be like that? And I thought, well, I don't really have to be here, so what does that say about my mental progress? And what does that say about me as a person? And it doesn't mean that they have bad ethic or anything of that nature. It just means that they either need to be here or something, or they're not doing something right. And I don't think I'm that person. I don't know if I'm making sense. I've honestly been rambling for like 17 minutes, and I know that you guys are busy college students, so you don't need to hear this shit. That really, what's, 20 minutes gonna do? I mean, you guys spend like 20 minutes a day probably on your phone. Probably more than that. I would say more than that. That's true for me too. Spend some time on my phone. It's easy when you have a smart. Okay, I'm rambling. Sorry, I don't want to waste your time. Shit. And I had some positive experiences today. I met a funky registered nurse. She was cool. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about medication. They gave me a cute little pamphlet about medication. I learned a lot. I learned that I have low dopamine levels. Wow. That's exciting. I also learned that I'm stronger than I think. And you know what? But I came home actually feeling pretty sad. Because I put you guys through a lot. And, I set myself up. And I set you up to expect an entirely different outcome than what happened today. And I feel like by doing that, I wasted your time. I wasted my time. By not understanding myself better. And by doing that, I tested your patience. I tested your wisdom and your kindness. And, what am I going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to be like, well, that was a fucking waste of time? Well, wow, that's a bitch. I don't know. You guys had to sit all day and worry about me. You guys had to sit all day and think, well, shit, my friend's in a Pine Rest today. And worry about that. And I didn't even end up sticking through it because I feel like I don't need it, but at the same time, it's like I didn't even have to go. I didn't have to put you guys through that. And for that, I really don't even know if sorry covers it. I don't think it does. I want to say it a million times. And I want to take everything that happened today. I want to stick with the good stuff and just take away the fact that I went to Pine Rest away today. Because I don't want to, I wanted to make this, I thought that this would be the most effective route because it would be faster, but it ended up, making me realize that I didn't have to do it. Damn. That's really all I have to say. I mean, nothing else special happened. I made talk to some people, things like that. Group therapy was okay. I cried in front of everyone. That was awkward. That's obviously something that I can work with. I just want you guys to know that before I end this, that I love you, and that, you know, I think that you'll stick around, but, you know, this isn't going to be a pleasant memory for anyone, and it's going to be hard to work through. I know that this experience will ultimately be positive because of your support and your undying love. And I don't think that's going to go away, but I think that, you know, yours are going to be like, well, shit, thanks a lot, but, yeah, that's fine. You know, I'll take it. But I just want you to know that I love you all very much.